Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Writer's Craft. For those of you who don't know me, which is basically everybody except for the handful of students from ADHS, my name is Mr. McLaughlin, but I typically go by Mr. M. Welcome to my course. I wanted to sort of welcome you face-to-face, as face-to-face as it really gets for e-learning. I always find that e-learning is really impersonal, and it helps if you can put a face to the name. So I plan to have a video for you at the beginning of every week, just to sort of keep things a little bit more personal and to set the tone for the course, which that's going to be part of this week's lesson, but I'm going to get to that later on. I would like you to please, if you haven't done so already, to update your profile picture with a photo of you, and that's going to be that's explained in a little bit more detail at the end of the first lesson. For the discussion tool, like I said, e-learning is impersonal enough. We don't have to make it even more impersonal by, forcing other people to read the comments of a person with no face. So for those of you who are shy and you don't like the idea of posting your actual profile picture, wear some sunglasses and a toque, and I think you'll be fine. So I try to keep these videos under 15 minutes because then I have to split them in half. So I'm going to rush. If at the end of this video you have any questions, please send me off an email. And that's the last thing that's actually on my list here, is to remind you to keep in contact with me if and when you need to. The best way is probably my professional email account, which is the mclaughlin@rcdsb.on.ca, and I know that was fast, but you'll be able to find that. I have it posted on Brightspace. But you can also obviously email me with the e-learning email tool, although I only check it when I'm actually online for e-learning. I check the other one throughout the day, and the emails come in on my phone. So if you want to get in touch with me like at night, I actually do respond to student emails at night because I'm that boring of a person. Please feel free to do so, but do that with my professional email account. So let's move on. Format of the course. Here's what you're up against. And this is my first time teaching the course too. I'd like to throw that out. I'm sort of finding my way through this as well. I don't fully understand it yet. I understand the concept of writing, but I don't understand necessarily everything that the course is about. I've had a look at it. I've found lots of places where I'm going to be making some changes. But anyways, the first unit is this massive unit with like 18 lessons, and the other units are all pretty small. We've got poetry, 2 fiction units, and 1 nonfiction unit. But this first unit, I guess you call it the toolbox unit, is just lessons about different aspects of writing. And I think that's a good way to start off the course because it keeps things very small. All of the assignments are pretty small. They're like paragraph responses or email length responses. They're all fairly short. So get ready to basically look at a wide variety of aspects of writing. This week, we're going to be looking at tone, and we're going to be looking at sensitivity of language, basically, along with an introductory lesson, which is for those of you who maybe didn't do the entire orientation for the course. I went ahead and I enrolled you anyways, as long as you had submitted the introductory writing assignment, and I know that you can submit something into a Dropbox. I think that that's probably all you really need to be able to do for this course. That and post on the discussion forum, and obviously read course content. So if you got to grade 12, I assume that you can read course content online, and I'm assuming that you can pick up on the discussion if you didn't post on any of them for the orientation. I'm assuming you can figure that out. If you have any problems, please contact me. But I wanted us all to kind of start the course together. So if you didn't do all of the orientation, I didn't get necessarily like a full look at your writing skills. So that's what the first lesson is about. And it also gives me a little bit of insight into you as a writer. Lesson number 2 is on tone. And we're going to be looking at specifically creating a formal tone in your writing as opposed to an informal tone in your writing. And there's also like the concept of the professional tone. So professional tone is like formal tone, except you can use first and second person. So the idea being that like when you're writing an essay, you refrain from using first and second person because it's too informal. You want to keep it more academic, so you write in third person. But if you're writing an email to your boss and you write it in the third person, that's going to sound really weird. So professional tone is another really important tone that we're going to work with in this course, and I'm going to be expecting that when you're emailing me, try to maintain a professional tone. You know, don't start off your email with, hey, how's she going? That sort of thing. And then we're going to play around with satirical tone, which I think you're going to have a little fun with. Anybody who knows anything about satire knows that it's smart humor, basically, and that I think is probably going to be like, it would be my favorite part of this week if it was if I was a student. But then again, I'm a sarcastic Gen Xer, so satire just naturally resonates with me. And then the last unit of the week is going to be on sensitivity in language, basically avoiding racist and sexist language of writing, which is a very sensitive topic. It's something that a lot of people, it like makes people feel uncomfortable, but as a writer, this is something that you're going to have to get through. You're going to have to sort of like set aside your own personal feelings at times, because you've got a job to do as writer, whether it's writing your essay or whether it's writing your news report, if you're a journalist, or whatever it is that you're writing. You know, you're not always going to have a task that's easy. Sometimes you're going to have to be very careful with how you tread with the written word. So that lesson, I think, is going to be an important one too. I think if I was going to summarize it, I think it all comes down to just like thinking before you speak. If you've gotten all the way to grade 12 and, you know, through our education system, I think that you've got the tools that you need and the basic empathy that you need in order to write with sensitivity. And it's just a matter of thinking carefully. You know, when you use a gendered term like fireman, it excludes people, right? So it's just a matter of thinking carefully about your word choice. And I've explained it a lot better than this in the lesson content. You know, make sure that you read my lesson content very carefully before you execute on the assignments. And I think you should be fine for that assignment and any other assignment that we do. I know this has been like a whirlwind of information, and my apologies. I think most of these videos are going to be, I'll be able to slow down a little bit. There's just so much to cover in this first one. So I've welcomed you to the course. I've told you a little bit about what the course is going to look like. That first unit is going to be a big one. All the other units are really short, and my format is going to be 3 lessons per week, regardless of the length of the week. So in a week where there's a holiday, so it's a 4-day week, there's still going to be 3 lessons. That's the pace I'm going to set. I think it's a nice, fair pace. And the amount of work that I give you is going to be enough work to keep you busy for a whole week. So expect every Monday morning there to be 3 lessons. There's 3 lessons posted for you today. You can do them all today if you don't do anything else and you just like put your head down and focus on writer's craft. I'm sure you could get through them all today. I wouldn't suggest doing that. I would suggest handling them like 1 a day and then taking a little bit of time to maybe polish your work before finally submitting things. So that'll be the format. And as far as the assignments go for this first unit, the subsequent units will all have like larger summative tasks to do. This first unit, it's all going to be based on the individual tasks for each lesson. So make sure that you're doing your best writing every time that you do a task. Make sure that you look at my success criteria. I always frame it that, you know, a level 3 assignment will look like this. In order to score level 4, you always try to exceed the expectations of level 3. You do more or you do better. So make sure you look at the success criteria and read the instructions carefully and execute on the assignments well. Make sure that you take the discussions really seriously. One of my biggest pet peeves with e-learning is the discussion board. I find that it's not used very well. I find that The discussions end up like kind of being pointless a lot of the time. I don't want it to ever be that way. And I also find that people tend to stop writing well when it comes to discussion board. It's just you go like right into like Facebook mode, and mechanics go right out the window, clarity goes right out the window, tone goes right out the window. We're going to always write well in this course. It's a course about writing. So make sure whenever you're posting anything on the discussion board that you remember that it's being graded for the content of what you're saying and the quality of your writing. And I grade those on an 8-point scale. If you do the math, you find that the different points relate to different levels. And that scale is posted for you at the end of the first lesson, so you can see exactly how you're going to be graded. All right, so that's where we are right now. We've got 3 lessons to do. They involve some assignments to drop into drop boxes. They involve some discussion posts, and it involves one email assignment that you're going to email to me directly. Make sure that you do all the assignments because they're all being graded and they will all count towards your first unit mark. Aside from marks, I want to emphasize work habits. This is my 2nd year as like a full-time e-learning teacher. I've been, since 2 summers ago, I've always had an e-learning course on the go. So I've noticed some trends and patterns, and the most clear trend and pattern I've seen is work habits really define how students do in these courses. Students who attend every day and they do the work on time tend to score very high in my courses, and students who have poor attendance and get behind in the course tend to score very low in my classes. And it's not because of any preferential treatment, it's just cause and effect. Students who have the time to actually do the assignments well, do well on assignments, and students who have no time and have to rush at the end up not doing them and getting zeros. So work habits, if I was going to emphasize something today, it would be that you should be attending every day. You should be doing coursework every day, even though there's 3 lessons. Some of those lessons are pretty taxing. Actually, I cut the first one down for you. You were supposed to originally write 9 paragraphs. I cut it down to 3 because I would like quality as opposed to quantity. But still, it's going to take you a while to think about and to frame 3 full paragraph responses and to polish those really well. And that's just one part of that lesson. So make sure that your work habits are good. And last but not least, just to reiterate, make sure that you contact me with any questions or concerns you might have. All right, so that is it, and I'm in my time frame of 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm going to end now while I think I'm ahead. Again, welcome to the course, and I do look forward to working with you this semester.